Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? It's the man Young Von Doom coming at y'all with the first video on this channel. And I figured for the first video on this channel, what better to talk about than the Great Destroyer, Beast of the Balkans, the Baron of Iron, Victor Von Doom, otherwise known as Dr. Doom, the OG of the Marvel supervillains. Now, for those of you who might not know, there have been a bunch of rumors for a while now going around about Marvel Studios introducing Dr. Doom into the MCU as the next big bad. But instead of making a video on how Marvel Studios can introduce Dr. Doom into the MCU, I want to revisit some of the iterations of Dr. Doom that we've already seen on the big screen. More specifically, the 2005's Fantastic Four version of the character, taking a look at it and see if I can do it better. But before I go ahead and make that video, I wanted to make this video going over the origin of Dr. Doom because I think it's really important that you know who Dr. Doom is and understand him as a character to better understand why I feel 2005's Dr. Doom could have been a lot better. And the very first thing that we're going to talk about that the 2005 movie doesn't really get into too much is his roots to his homeland in Latveria and the experiences that he has there. Because I feel like it's these experiences that really bring out some of the best parts of this character, to be honest. Now, Victor Von Doom was born in Hazenstad, Latveria, where his father, Werner Von Doom, worked as a healer using traditional magic, and his mother, Cynthia Von Doom, was a practitioner of sorcery, or witch for lack of a better term, living as members of the Zafiro, a gypsy class in Latveria. Now, when Victor was only 4 years old, his mother was hunted and killed by the Baron's soldiers after she made a deal with the devil Mephisto, gaining enough magical power to defeat the Baron of Latveria, freeing her people from what she sees as oppression, at the cost of all the lives of the children in her village except her son Victor. As a result of this event, the people of the Romani village voted to cast Doom and his father out of the village, but because Victor is far more intelligent than most people even at the age of 4, he tells them that if they cast him out, that he would have no choice but to learn dark magic just like his mother and grow up to wreak havoc on the village, which causes them to revoke their decision almost instantly, allowing them to stay. Fast forward 7 years later, when Victor was 11 years old, the Baron's wife became ill with cancer, and he tasked Werner with curing the sickness. But she was beyond saving, and despite Werner's best efforts, the Baron's wife died. Blaming Werner for the death, the Baron sentenced him to death and sent his soldiers after him. Fleeing the village with Victor on a horse that would eventually run away from them, Werner found himself in the freezing cold in the dead of night with his 11-year-old son, who's already lost one parent at this point, with nothing but the clothes on their back. In a final effort to save his son, Werner covered his son in all the clothing he had, wrapping his arms around Victor, hoping to save his son's life. They were eventually found, but not in time to save Werner's life, as the harsh cold temperatures proved too much to bear. And in this, Victor sought vengeance. He would later find a chest full of various mystical artifacts owned by his mother and began studying magic, eventually becoming extremely skilled in both magic and science, using these skills to become the leader of the Sphero, protecting them from the king and his forces. Later on in his life, Victor will receive a scholarship from State University after word of his vast intellect reached the United States, and it's around this time that Doom comes to find out that his mother's soul is being held captive in the realm of Mephisto, and he makes it his lifelong goal to find a way into Mephisto's realm to free his mother's soul. It's also around this time that Victor would meet who would turn out to be his arch nemesis and lifelong intellectual rival, Reed Richards, who would later go on to become Mr. Fantastic. Victor chose to keep to himself while at State University and, so to speak, rejected the typical college life that most people seem to enjoy, focusing on his studies on alternate dimensions and the dark arts. Reed Richards happens to find Victor's notes for a device that would help him find his mother's soul and found that some of the calculations were off, and tried to bring this to Doom's attention, but because Victor is such an arrogant, egotistical, and prideful man, he refuses to listen to Reed and continued his work fusing magic and science to use the device. When Victor used the device, it only worked for a few moments, but in these moments, he saw his mother being held by Mephisto and listened as she pleaded for him to turn around. Mephisto would then reach out and touch Victor, and it is in this moment that the device would blow up in his face, horribly disfiguring it. This experience haunts him while he sleeps, and he would use bandages to cover his face from here on out. Over the years after this happens, Victor would do many things, including achieve time travel, but for the purpose of not making this video too long, we're going to skip to the point in time where Victor is sought out by a man named Otto, who was part of a secret order of monks in the Himalayan mountains of Tibet, who prophesied that a man hiding his true face would come to lead them. Learning of this, Victor traveled to the Himalayan mountains seeking information on the secret order and searching for their tribe. One day, while searching the Himalayan mountains, Victor will come face to face with a Yeti, and using his wits and the technology at his disposal, he defeats it and uses his fur for warmth and his flesh for food. After his supplies ran out, Victor was found at the brink of death outside the secret temple by the monks, and they nursed him back to health. Dr. Doom will come to find that the monks had mastered both science and magic, and he learned everything that he possibly could from them, eventually surpassing their skill and knowledge within 5 years. It is here that Victor would make his suit of armor designed to give him the appearance of being beyond human, beyond killable, and all-powerful, and he would take on the name Dr. Doom. He would then go back to his homeland in Latveria, and using his knowledge and understanding of what it takes to be a true leader, he would rally the people of Latveria behind him, killing and overthrowing King Vladimir, freeing them from oppression and becoming the new ruler of Latveria. With his people now free, Doom used his mastery of magic to summon Mephisto. And amused by Doom's persistence, Mephisto offered a deal that would allow Doom the chance to fight for his mother's soul once every year. But each time he failed, his people would slowly grow to hate him more and more. Doom accepted this deal and began his quest for ultimate power in order to defeat Mephisto and save his mother's soul. Now, there's a lot more to get into when it comes to the history of Dr. Doom. And to be honest, this is really just a compact version of this origin. And if you want to get the full origin with all the little details in there, I will be leaving links in the description for those of you guys who want a little more detail and more information, and just a lot of the little events that I left out, because there are little events that I left out, like him strangling one of the Baron soldiers with his bare hands before he left the first time. You know, the whole situation with Valeria and all that. Just a lot of different little things that I decided to leave out because, like I said, this is really just supposed to be a quick video in preparation for my next video where I'm going to be talking about how 2005's Fantastic Four version of Dr. Doom could have been done a lot better. So I will be leaving links in the description for that. And another thing to note, over the years, he would have many encounters with a bunch of different Marvel characters, such as the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Norrin Radd, the X-Men, just to name a few of them. So yeah, with that being said, that's about all I got for you guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Imagine, I now possess the power to end hunger, to abolish disease, to eliminate crime, to establish a perfectly content, perfectly ordered world, all under the benevolence of my